Okay. I'd like to call to order the September 9th, 2025 board meeting of the Board of Directors meeting for the South Granville Water and Sewer Authority. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. Thank you for coming. Thank you for those who are watching online and those that will watch the recording later. We have one item of business before we get started tonight, and that is Tim Karen has stepped down and the county has voted Russ May to replace Tim, and we need to conduct our swearing in ceremony, and I'll turn it over to Attorney Wren to do the swearing in.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
I, Russ May,
Do solemnly and sincerely swear that you will support the Constitution and laws of the United States, that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are and may be established for the government thereof, that you will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution and laws of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of your knowledge and ability, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as a member of the South Granville Water and Sewer Authority, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And before you go, Tim, we got a little something for you. I know you don't like these sorts of things, but we want to present you a token of our appreciation for the service you've given to the South Granville Water and Sewer Authority, to the board. And what many people don't know is Tim was one of the original members of the South Granville Water and Sewer Authority board when it was formed. Even before it became, even before you took over the system, right. You were in the formative years in 2005. Right. And let me see if I remember this right. You and Kent Ray represented the city of Creedmoor. Tom Lane and Edgar Smoke represented the Butner Citizens Advisory Committee at that time, because Butner had not become a incorporated town. And Ron Alligood and Dave Kern represented the county, and I believe Jack Day represented the town of Stem.
That's correct, 100%.
So Tim has Tim served through about 2010.
Yep, 2005 to 2010.
And then again,
17 till last month.
Till now, till Monday night. And thank you, Tim. We thank you for your service.
Thank you,
and I personally thank you for your friendship.
Thank you.
And for your mentorship. And it's just been a pleasure working with you on the South Granville Water and Sewer Authority board. And it will continue to be a pleasure to work with you on the county board. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate you. It's been a pleasure to serve with you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just not going to serve here. As you all know, Commissioner Russ May is absolutely 100% capable, and I leave no doubt that he will do a 100% adequate, if not 100% above and beyond, better than I could have achieved. So Russ is your man for sure.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you all. Appreciate everything you do for the citizens of this region.
And you can stay for the meeting, Tim.
You signed up for public comment.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome, Russ.
Thank you. Welcome, Russ. And thank you, Commissioner Karen. You don't know how much I appreciate all that you've done over the years, especially all you've done for me. Thank you. And now we'll go to a roll call.
Commissioner Cooch.
Present.
Commissioner Way.
Present.
Commissioner Kaczynski.
Present.
Councilperson Daniels. Present. Commissioner May.
Present.
Commissioner McGlann.
Present.
All are accounted for.
Thank you. And now, if you will, join me in our invocation. Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for this opportunity to come together to conduct business for the South Granville Water and Sewer Authority. Thank you for all the employees, our executive director, his staff. Thank you to our customers because that's where our money comes from to do the projects we need to do. And we have to do them in a timely manner. And you understand the challenges we face. And we appreciate everything you do for us, Lord. Bless each and every one of us and guide us and direct us in this meeting tonight. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
And now, Commissioner Way will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Sorry.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Are there any adjustments to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll call for a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Review of the August 12th, 2025 board meeting minutes. Trust everyone's had a chance to go over these. Does anybody have any questions on the minutes or any comments? If not, we'll call for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion is approved. The minutes are approved. Next is our public comment section of the meeting, and Mr. Ed Gleason has signed up for public comments tonight. Mr. Gleason, if you'll come forward and state your name and address for the record, although we all know it by heart by name. Thank you, Ed. Thank you for coming tonight.
My name is Edward Gleason. I live in 1973 Bowles Avenue in Creedmoor, North Carolina. And I'm a citizen of South Granville and buy my water from South Granville Water and Sewer Authority. First let me congratulate Russ on his new position. One thing I appreciate, Russ knows that when you see somebody get appointed to a position that he's been here and he's listened and he's has an idea of what's going on here, it's a good thing. So welcome. Planning. Planning is an important thing that I was taught by my parents when I was young. Sometimes I didn't plan my plan didn't work out the way it was supposed to work out, but I did plan. And in later life, I became much better at it. I've been in business for 30 years, and the plan worked. Sometimes a little better than we thought. I have a son who I'm very proud of, who is an associate commissioner of the New York City Fire Department in charge of strategic planning. I smile when he tells me what his job is, but he's an analyst, and he's pretty damn smart. I was able to attend the finance committee meeting the other day, and it was quite informative, and it was kind of scary. It wasn't necessarily so scary for a 79-year-old guy who doesn't have to really worry about necessarily making it to 32, but there are a lot of young people here that are. And I saw things at that meeting that we just talked about. The beginning of this organization, when Tim was before SGWASA was even formed, or the town of Butner, and the plan was messed up from the get-go, and the planning now is it's a rolling plan, and you can't have a rolling plan because if you're not planning for 32, which obviously was being done in that finance committee meeting. But there was no planning prior, or where do we go from here? It's a scary thing when I heard, and I didn't see the whole thing because the board was kind of twisted, that because of the money and borrowing and having money and raising rates and whatever, that the word priority was mentioned. Priority is a scary word because there's somebody in that priority that doesn't get what everybody else gets, most likely. Because if you're doing away with something, you're taking something away from somebody. The city of Creedmoor, which I'm a citizen of, and I'm here as a citizen, is trying to plan for its future. And it's amazing how much SGWASA has become part of Creedmoor's planning for the future. When I saw things that priorities were this, and this, I lost track, and I hope it'll be made clearer, maybe tonight, of where the city of Creedmoor stands if the last priority becomes less important than the first two priorities or the first third. Creedmoor has stopped, and it will be stopped until it has more sewer capacity. And as was also brought up, God knows what the state is going to do because of the Falls Lake rules. We may not even have the capacity we thought we had in the sewer system. So again, I'm concerned, and I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you. And we appreciate your comments. Next item is agenda item 9, board discussion items.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go
May I
ahead.
give an overview of our financial committee meeting this past Friday? I'd like to offer some insight, some of the items that we discussed. Our first thing we talked about was our debt summary. And I thought that was a good overview, and it even has indicated at least 3 of them of our debt is going to be expired. So that's nice to know. It's not a lot of money, but it definitely helps add more money. The other thing we mentioned that we talked about, our goals, was I-85 sanitary sewer project and including the northern interceptor funding that we have to consider. USDA is a loan fee for $8 million for 40 years with a 3.75%. Now, that's just suggested. This is not in stone. But what I'm trying to say is that we have that project, we have the PFAS mitigation construction that's going to cost a lot. That would be from the Department of Environmental Quality loan, $26 million, 20 years, 4% interest. And you might see where I'm going with this. And then you have our fund balance that we talked a lot about, because that's important. Because we have contributed some of our fund balance from the account to help. I know in previous years, we even helped the salaries of our employees to offset, to keep the ratepayers not having to be increased in the water bill. The main thing I thought we really did well at was talking about how we get a loan with a low interest rate, and if you expand it out, you know, that's going to lessen your payment. But if you have a smaller loan, term-wise, lower term, you're going to have a bigger payment. And so with these projects, we have to do a balancing act and maybe see how much we can use of the fund balance. And that it's good to know that we do have fund balance. It's not, excuse me, we're not wealthy, but it's an advantage where we can contribute to some of the loans. So I thought that was beneficial. We talked about also that maybe there's a software that our finance director could use to help us see that in the future, what we might could do so we could get a broader picture, what that will look like when it comes to debt service. Also, I want to mention in our debt service between year 2026 and 2032, that's going to be peak years for our debt service. And I think that's why we're working so hard to look at all the different options that we may have. So I thought that was good that we exchanged those ideas. And I wanted also, he mentioned planning. When we have strategic benefits, SGWASA can move forward with a major infrastructure upgrade that may not be able to be affordable, but the positions, excuse me, the authority to better serve growing demand and meet the regulatory requirements, especially around wastewater treatment. So we're trying to do a lot of things to keep our water clean. We're trying to improve our projects for the efficiency of the wastewater treatment and the water utility system. And if we proceed with both loans, total annual debt service could exceed $2.3 million in peak years. And so that's why the Finance Committee, working together, we can carefully weigh the fund balance usage and timing of each project. And I think that's good that this is a beginning. Our last meeting was a real good start to what we can plan for the future. And everything is not in stone. Things change, things happen. We got some positive things because we'll have growth. We'll have system development fees. I mean, that's not going to cover by no means the whole projects, but it will be helpful. So I wanted to open it up for the other people that attended the meeting to add to.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody want to speak up here?
We got a lot to look into for the next meeting until the end. And as Ed brought up just a minute ago, a lot of planning to do.
We've done a considerable amount of planning, and a lot of it revolves around debt coming off and new debt coming on. And there's considerable amount of planning of the timing of the 85 project, because we had a limited time frame in which to use some of the grant funds, because it was ARPA funding, and that had to be spent by 2026. So I think Scott, Richard, and staff have done a good job of laying things out where we have the opportunity to basically replace a good portion of the debt with, old debt comes off, new comes on, without having a tremendous amount of impact. But then, we've got the PFAS, and we don't know how much funding we're going to get from the state or federal government for that. We've been applying for grants, and it's one of those things we just have to work our way through and do it methodically. We can't have somebody demanding something today, because if you demand it today and we deliver it today, there's a price that comes with that.
If we don't wait and do this the right way, the effect is going to be hard on our ratepayers. And that is what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to find the best system at the best price at the right time. And I've been on the finance committee for 6 years, and the executive director and finance director from the very beginning had worked, and this is before PFAS, this was just with I-85. Mm-hmm. We worked with when debt rolls off and the new debt comes on for the sanitary sewer project, we had timed that out. And then PFAS came along and has added a whole nother layer of expense, which we are estimating is $26 million at this time. And to spread $26 million over 5,000 customers, it's bad. It's bad. So we are going to work as hard as we can. to try and get some funds to offset that debt. Maybe we'll find a system that might not cost that much. There's new technology every day, and I am hopeful that we can find something that'll work for everybody to filter out the PFAS and maybe not be that expensive, but we don't know. And there's a lot of unknowns. So to rush this board and say, we want PFAS filtered now, that's just not practical for the ratepayers. The ratepayers would, Kenneth, I think we figured out it was like an 85% increase we would have to deal with. And we don't want to do that to you. So the reason we're going with the guidelines given to us by the federal government is because we are trying to find the best way to balance all of these things. And believe me, like Vicki said, it is a balancing act, and it is a lot of stuff that's coming. And we haven't even added the lead and copper program yet. And we don't know what's coming down the pike next. So bear with us. We are working very hard. These are high numbers. And to try and balance it all out, the best way that we can is a project. And you can't just walk in the door Russ, I know that this is a little overwhelming for your first meeting, but it takes a long time to learn all the nuances of SGWASA. It just doesn't come to you on the first meeting. Robert and I can tell you ourselves that Vicki's been on this board, off this board, on this board, and it's always a learning experience.
Yes.
And if you can't just walk onto this board and say, I know everything about it. There's a reason the county kept Tim on this board as long as they did, because it's not just a rotation. You have to learn it, and then you have to live it. So please understand that we are doing everything we can to do this the right way. We're not stalling as we've been accused of.
All right. Commissioner Way, you have any comments you'd like to add? Or
Not for that. I've got a couple of just update requests from our staff members.
okay. Are you going to do that in commissioner comments at the end?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Any way you want to do it, that's fine. Commissioner May, I know we threw you in the grease right from the beginning. So,
well, I've been attending SGWASA meetings now for 4 years. Attended most of the meetings the last year. A lot of challenges. A lot of challenges to the ratepayer. So I'm going to spend my early time on this board focusing on learning, but also understanding that PFAS is not unique to Granville County. PFAS is not unique to SGWASA. PFAS has impacted systems throughout North Carolina. So the challenge is, on top of wanting to make the appropriate remedies to bring it about, is that you're challenged with also competing for others that have similar issues, and some even to a larger magnitude. So those competing interests, and it requires a lot of research and time to make sure you get it right. And so I'd rather see this board move methodically and get it right than rapidly and miss the mark. And so I've got a lot to learn, and so I'm just going to hold the comments to there. I look forward to the challenges, look forward to working with each of you. But there is no easy solution to the problems that really came about decades ago. It's not, this is not, you have to understand the history, and some of it I know reasonably well and some of it I don't, but you have to understand the history of how we got to where we're at. And it's very cavalier to hear some of the comments that are made about what goes on. I think I'm going to hold some further comments for when I know more. So it's, the scripture tells us that sometimes a wise man remains silent.
do we have any other comments? All right. If we thoroughly discussed this, thank you, Councilperson Daniels, for bringing this forward.
I appreciate the staff that put the meeting together and the schedule
Yeah.
and the topics. Thank you.
And the meeting is open to the public, so anybody's invited to come if you want to hear, like Commissioner, like Mr. Gleason was. Anybody who wants to know about everything we're talking about, it's open to the public, so you can come and learn at the meeting.
You don't have a question? Can I ask you a question?
We don't usually do question and answer, but if you'll stick around after the meeting, be glad to talk with you
Okay.
and work through it. Item 10 is award of contract to Vision NC LLC for sewer cleaning and televising. And Chris, you're going to come forward and
Televising, I love that word. Like
televising sewer lines.
People want to watch this.
Good afternoon. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm bringing forward an award of contract to Vision NC for sewer cleaning and televising, or at least a potential award. A little background about this. SGWASA is required to clean and inspect at least 10% of the total 114 miles of pipe and wastewater collection system annually. According to the US EPA, cleaning and inspecting sewer lines are essential to maintaining a properly functioning system, and these activities further communities' reinvestment into wastewater infrastructure. In our current 25-26 approved budget, we have $170,000 for sanitary sewer cleaning and televising. This sits in our CIP plan. So in early August, SGWASA issued an RFP, or request for proposals, for annual sanitary sewer pipeline cleaning and televising over a 2-year period for fiscal year 25-26 and then potentially 26-27. On August 22nd, 2025, proposals were opened, and the following 5 vendors provided proposals for the scope of work outlined in the RFP. You can see the bids here. Vision NC came up with the lowest bid. Fiscal year 25-26, for what was outlined in the RFP, that total came up to $151,800, and potential for 26-27 at $156,000. Our recommendation is that you give an award of contract to Vision NC at the unit cost proposed for the sanitary sewer cleaning and televising program for fiscal year 25-26. And then based on the vendor's performance during fiscal year 25-26, SGWASA will consider awarding the vendor the work for fiscal year 26-27. We will present that to the board. So following board approval, SGWASA will execute the necessary contract documents and schedule the work. It does sit in our CIP. Our CIP includes $170,000 for this year for sanitary sewer cleaning and televising, and the supporting budget amendment after this for the program is followed in the meeting agenda. So our executive director's recommendation is we ask that you approve a unit cost contract with Vision NC for fiscal year 25-26 for sanitary sewer cleaning and televising program for the not to exceed amount of $170,000.
Move to approve.
Okay.
I have
Go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have we used this company before?
Yes, so we're currently using Vision NC, and they came up as the lowest bidder.
Second that motion.
Can I have some discussion real quick?
Yes, please.
It's in the positive. Vision NC is a local company.
Yes.
They employ local people for local jobs. I think it's a great thing to have somebody you can reach out to at any time.
Mm-hmm.
I see that we have the pricing for this year and for next year.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything that keeps us from entering into a contract with a company that we've already approved on several other occasions to do this exact work if we enter into a 2-year contract with them, since we already have pricing available?
I believe we might have the option to extend the contract beyond the scope here. Do you have anything saying otherwise?
I have a comment while our attorney is looking at this, but in the past, we've done this. So we started developing several years ago this 2-year contract approach, saying we would like to get pricing for 2 years. And based on your performance, if you do well and we have your costs, we will entertain the idea of recommending you for a second contract. Now, we only award for 1 year at a time because that's what our approved budget is. So we try not to create a 2-year contract knowing that there is no budget officially approved to support that contract at this point. So I believe in the past our attorney has said just make it a 1-year contract within your existing fiscal year. And then as you look at their performance, if you want to make a recommendation and you have the budget for it, then we can move forward with that. So Jim, would you like to add anything to that?
No, I think it gives us optionality of either doing it a 1-year contract or a 2-year contract if it's approved in the budget, as Scott discussed. I'm not clear if the question is, should we look at doing it even more than 2 years? Is that what you were suggesting?
No, I mean, I'm fine with the 2 years. It appears, at least the time I've been on the board, we've had the same pricing for the most part of the 170,000 for this service. Mm-hmm. And I believe Vision NC has been selected on more than one occasion as our provider, at least every year that I've been on the board. So that establishes that they've done a good job, or we wouldn't keep approving them to come back and do it again. And so I was just looking that based on history and precedent that's been set of what we keep approving year after year, if we could just go with the 2-year contract, so that way we could just move forward. But I see your point, and I'm fine with either way. I'm just trying to figure out if it was something a little bit easier to go instead of year after year, because we're asking for 2 years of pricing anyway.
And I would also defer to Richard on this, but if we're doing a 2-year contract, performance over multiple years, we would probably need to do a continuing budget resolution and that type of thing to encumber the funds over the two different budget years as well, which is a little bit different approach than we normally take. Is that accurate?
We probably need to do something after the project once that's correct.
Right. So in any event, this seems like a good approach. We can certainly go in a different direction the board would prefer.
So any other discussion on the motion?
So when will this be done? If we approve it tonight, when will this be done?
So we would award the contract after the meeting.
Okay, and do we have any idea when they could start doing this?
I do not at this time. This is something that they do on an annual basis. So it depends on the needs that we have sometimes. Sometimes if we get sanitary sewer overflows, backups, stuff like that, we can call them out to look at certain sections of line. But generally it's scheduled work.
Okay.
Sure, they're ready to go. We have a list of sections already designed for this year that need to be done as far as the maintenance goes.
So barring any issues, how long does it take them to do 11 months? Like 6 months, 8 months?
We usually do it over the course of the year. But it depends on their schedule. But I think that 90 days total is about what we can do as far as accomplishing the televising and the cleaning. We have to clean it first, obviously. So, and then we do the television work. And there are some sections, the question has been asked in the past. Are you televising and cleaning different lines every year? And we say, yes, the majority are different or newer sections, so that over the course of 10 years, we've completed 100% of the evaluation. Now, there are some sections that are trouble sections that we go back to on an annual basis as part of this program as well. So it's a good program for us, and we use them for emergency work as well that we need.
But this also helps us spot any troubled areas that we might have while they're doing it.
That is correct. Okay. And also conditions of pipelines, and helps develop our other programs for repairs and maintenance.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Any other questions? We have a motion and a second on the table. We'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Now we're down to agenda item 11 is resolution for fiscal year 24-25 local government commission application for USDA bond issue. issuance. Excuse me.
Two finance items on the agenda. Both of them are fairly straightforward. Item number 11 is a resolution for 24-25 for the Local Government Commission to accept an application for the USDA bond issuance. This is just a continuation of the I-85 USDA bond that we've been working on now for, I think, 3 years. The requested action is that we're seeking the Board of Directors' approval of a resolution authorizing applicable management to submit a Local Government Commission application for issuance of $35 million in revenue bonds, the related bond anticipation notes for interim financing, and the issuance of the bonds upon project completion when the USDA basically purchases the bonds. A little bit of background. At the regular South Carolina Water and Sewer Authority meeting on October 11, 2022, the board authorized SGWASA management to apply for a USDA loan in the amount of $35 million. That's to fund a portion of the 85 sanitary sewer project that was in excess of the $35 million ARPA grant we'd already received. At the regular SGWASA board meeting on September 12, 2023, the board selected the firm of McGuire Woods LLP as bond counsel associated with the USDA revenue and funding bonds. On August 27, 2025, I submitted the required LGC financing application to the LGC for approval of the revenue bonds and notified the required state officials accordingly. With the guidance of the USDA, the Local Government Commission, and Mary Nashrush, who was the bond counsel of McGuire Woods LLP. So basically, what you have here is just a resolution that the board wants the LGC to consider an application to issue USDA bonds in the amount of $35 million. The staff recommendations, the Executive Director and Finance Director recommend approving the resolution as presented. The schedule on approving and obtaining the required signatures on the documents that will be provided to the LGC. Financial information and application fee of $1,250 was submitted along with the LGC application package on August 20th, 2025. The check was issued utilizing an existing budget approved by the Board for construction-related legal services. The budget amendment later in the agenda will have that $1,250 specified. You've got an exhibit in your agenda, which is the resolution. And the Executive Director's recommendation is that the Board of Directors adopt the resolution as required to complete the LGC application and the USDA loan process related to the issuance of the applicable revenue bonds. I'll answer any questions about the resolution or the process.
Anyone have any questions for Richard? Hearing none. Hearing no questions, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item number 12 on our agenda tonight is fiscal year 25-26 budget amendment number 4. Mr. Palmer.
That's the second financial item. It's basically, as you said, budget amendment 4. It realigns the budget for renewal of Brightly software, which is a workflow management software package that we utilize. It just moves some money from one department to another to reassign one license. No increase in the total budget. It appropriates the fund balance necessary for the $1,250 LGC loan application fee we just discussed. And the other item in the budget amendment is the $170,000 you just awarded for sewer line maintenance for the CCPB project. You'll see that you've already approved budget amendments 1 through 3, along with the budget ordinance use of fund balance. That brings total use of fund balance to date $3,382,040. You'll see we're transferring in this budget amendment from fund balance $171,250. We're decreasing the administration department by $468, increasing the engineering by $468. That's for that license I just mentioned. You'll see we're increasing the budget for utility sewer maintenance by $170,000 and projects and studies for $1,250. That's the LGC application fee. You've got the BA4 supporting document in there. It gives you a little more detail.
The Executive Director's recommendation that the SGWASA Board of Directors approve budget amendment number 4 is presented. I will point out that the $170,000 the CCTV you just reported will be paid for out of designated CIP fund balance.
Okay, any questions for Richard on this?
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? Second. We have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. We're down to our comments from our Executive Director, Mr. Schroyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and board members. First of all, I'd like to thank Chris and Richard for your presentations this evening and your work on the legislative items that were presented this evening. Thank you, board members, as well, for approving tonight's agenda items. We greatly appreciate that. A couple of things I'd like to just add in, especially regarding the Finance Committee meeting. The meeting on September 5th, the Finance Committee meeting, great meeting, about 3 hours long. That video for that meeting will be posted this week on our website. So I encourage all those in the audience and beyond to take a look at that. It was a great meeting just for a great overview of all the planning that we're doing and what's ahead of us for our projects, with a great focus on the sewer expansion project, the I-85 project, as well as PFAS. In terms of the next Finance Committee meeting, that has yet to be scheduled, but we anticipate that within the next 60 days. So, of course, we'll reach out to the Finance Committee members and get that scheduled so we can continue to roll forward with that view of our funding schemes for the PFAS project. In terms of the PFAS funding, we are preparing to submit our third NCDEQ funding application for the $26 million PFAS project. We will continue to apply for funding for grants for the PFAS construction projects, even through construction. We'll just continue to do that over the next couple of years as we're doing that. And also, we submitted earlier this spring an application for $500,000 for additional pilot study and engineering design work. We hope to hear from NCDEQ later this month or next month on whether or not we'll be awarded $500,000 for that continuing PFAS project. That's all I have for this evening. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Attorney Wren, do you have anything for us tonight? Do we have anything for closed session? Nothing for closed session. Good deal. Thank you. Comments from our board members. Butler Councilperson Vicki Daniels.
No comments.
Greenmore Commissioner Robert Way.
All right, Chris, I need some updates.
Yes, sir.
I know that we're getting into our cooler weather now. Have we heard any delivery date on the project for the chiller replacement?
I have not reached out about that. The last board meeting, I think we were sitting about somewhere between 14 and 20 weeks, so that would probably put us around 10 to 16 weeks from now.
Okay.
We couldn't shorten that delivery time, unfortunately.
I understand. I'm just making sure that nothing's popped up with, supply and demand and parts and pieces. The other thing would be, at the last meeting we approved for the water treatment plant filter replacement project. Do we have any update on scheduled time frames or anything?
Yes, a little bit. So we are looking at the contract now. We're going to get, if I remember right, it's we've got some insurance things that we're having to go through with the company. There are longer lead times for the materials than we anticipated. I think as it stands now, we were looking at about a 4-month lead time for that. We have gone back to Hazen and Sawyer to ask the company if there's any ability to shorten the lead times on that, to potentially go to a different vendor or something like that for the materials.
So as of right now, we're probably looking at an anticipated start time somewhere after the first of the year.
Yes, sir.
If I may add to that, Commissioner and board members, I was poised to sign the contracts last week, and then we discovered an insurance issue, not on our part, with the vendor, that they didn't submit the proper paperwork. So I anticipate signing those contracts this week. The vendor has already issued a PO to the vendor, the supplier for the materials for the media. And when we heard about the delivery date being months away, the question that we asked our engineer was, okay, this is a staged project. Let's ensure that we're not looking for bulk delivery of 100% of the materials, because we are not progressing through the project 100% right at the beginning. It is staged, doing one at a time. So we've reached out to them. Chris, I'm not sure if you received information from them, but it would be a smaller delivery. That's what we're trying to work on, so we can get the project started quicker instead of waiting for one delivery at the end. So we'll keep the board updated on that as well.
And we have a meeting with Hayes and Sawyer, I believe, tomorrow, so we'll have an update.
Yeah. And lastly, I know you touched base on what we're doing so far with our PFAS, and Commissioner May said that PFAS definitely is not just a SGWASA problem. It's not a North Carolina problem. It's everywhere. The one thing that has definitely come about is it's more forefront now in today's world. And a lot of our surrounding partners and municipalities are doing the same things that we're doing, as far as trying to find what is the best media to clear out the PFAS, PFOS for the end product. Something that was brought forth was what we're currently using, and then also what Cary, North Carolina is using with their process. Is there anything as far as CDM Smith can do to reach out to others to see if they're using different types of media than what we are?
Sure.
Because as you said, when we started this project, we get to the end of 3 different medias that we've chose to test out, and there's 2 new ones on the market. So
let me say this to that. Thank you, Chris. I'll take it from here. So as the board is aware, there are emerging technologies all over the world for PFAS, and more chemicals are going to be identified along the way. And eventually PFAS is going to be part of wastewater. So get ready for that. Once we get done with water, it's heading to wastewater. We'll have to deal with PFAS with that as well. Emerging technologies, great technologies that we have been aware of over the last several months and the last year for PFAS. They're great discoveries. They just haven't made it to market yet. They're patent pending. They haven't been developed. They're still in testing. They haven't received safe drinking water standards. So you have to be, even though it's great that it's out there, it just isn't to market yet. Okay. If we had 10 years, we would spend 7 years evaluating new materials and new markets out there for PFAS. We don't have that luxury. We have a due date of August or April 2029 to get this done. One of the materials that I've seen and I'm aware of that was mentioned with Cary and the pilot program that they're doing is, I believe it was Invicta water. I want the board to know that starting in June of 2024, we have been investing in information and technology and pilot discussions with Invicta and the president of the company. In fact, we last fall did a tour of a facility in a community that's doing the same thing to find out more. We have worked with CDM Smith, our engineering partners, on PFAS to look at that technology. And we're moving in that same direction to analyze that. Unfortunately, that company falls into that same category as emerging technology, and we want to do this. They really haven't done it yet. They're doing more large-scale pilot programs, which is fantastic. So one of the things that I've talked to the board about for the last couple of years with these emerging technologies is when it comes to planning and execution, you have to hit that target of 2029. And you've got to be successful with that. You can't wait. So what we are doing is through our pilot program that we did this last year, funded by a state grant for $500,000, is we are looking at current technologies that can be put into use now so that we can meet that timeline. We have an opportunity based on our current capacity at our water plant to look at potentially treating the amount of water that we're putting out per day quantity with a PFAS reduction technology, one. And at the same time, because we're not using all the water that we can push through the plant, if you will, look at additional technologies. So over the course of the next 10 years, for example, as we're meeting the deadline in 2029 for PFAS, there's also an opportunity to look at other emerging technologies to see how cost effectively they might be used to be added to the technology we're already going to have in place. So that's our approach. So it's a lot of planning for us. We have a due date. We can't let that slip. We're not going to let that slip, but we are aware of that, and we are working on that and made aware of those technologies as well. So again, I just want to impress upon the board, as we said from the beginning, we're going to be monitoring this. We're going to make sure that we are looking at this, and if there's a way to find a better product, more cost effective and beneficial, both on the capital investment as well as the operational investment, that's what we're going to do, and that's how we're going to proceed. So I don't think at this point that we've been outdone, and I think that we find ourselves continuing to be on pace with these other larger utilities and these larger city utilities, and we've been doing that from the forefront from the beginning. So I'm pleased with where we are, and we continue to move forward. Our greatest challenge now is the funding of this, because we can't wait 5 years to figure out how to fund this. We are marching down that pathway now, hence the reason for our meeting on September 5th. And that really laid the groundwork for a great overview of priorities that we have, and regulatory priorities that we have to meet. And as we continue to have these meetings, it will come into focus what this funding is and what the costs are to the organization, to the ratepayers. We don't have that information now. That's going to be developed, and I think it's well timed, because we're going to get this engineering design work done over the course of the next several months, and then we go to construction. So it's upon us. So I know that was a lot of words, but I hope that was a lot of information for the board.
I appreciate the detailed response. And the follow-up, I just wanted to make sure that I'm making my notes. The current medias that we're using are the approved, tried and true, so far working methods.
That is correct.
The Invicta sources that SGWASA has engaged with since 2024 and speaking with them is emerging technology, and it has great results, but however has not been approved for use as a media to filter out the PFAS and approved as a media.
Correct. And we also have information and working with them on doing a pilot program here at SGWASA.
I think if you go to the Invicta website, go through that and study the company, what I found is they're a startup company. And the deal with Kerry is probably their biggest to date. And Kerry is going to do testing with Invicta to see if they want to do a pilot study. So they're not doing a pilot testing now. They're doing just testing to see if they want to take the next step to go to a pilot study and then move forward from there. And the biggest unit I saw that Invicta had was, I think, 1.5 million gallons per day. Now, they claim they can tie units together to reach any level, but it hasn't happened yet. So, we hope they found the magic bullet. I hope they have found the magic bullet, but it's yet to be proven, and it's yet to become it's yet to be proven technology. So we'll keep a close watch on it. We're currently doing 3.5 million gallons a day.
Yeah, sometimes we max up to 4. So, and we're permitted for our plant to push through 7.5 MGD. So it gives you an idea of what the balance is right now that we're not pushing through the plant.
So what they're working on now is half the capacity of what we're actually producing at this point.
Their 1.5 MGD unit is what they have, and they would need to link units together eventually to meet the demand that we would have.
And I think that's the problem Kerry is running into. The reason they're going to do testing to see if they're going to do a pilot study is because Kerry's demand is far higher than ours.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, we got into a full range discussion.
No, you're great. I mean, it's just, this is information that's out there in the community. It's out there in the public, and these are questions. You can have all the information posted, but I'd like to have feedback on what's tried and true, what's working, what's not working, and the only way we can do that is to rely on information from people that are experts in the field. And currently, CDM Smith is our expert, and that's why we have the 3 medias that we've chosen to go with this project. And unfortunately, the study that was just mentioned in Cary is something that's just trying to get off the ground.
Who's the engineering firm doing that?
I'm not even sure who it is yet.
Okay.
I have to do some more research on it because
I read it and I don't remember it, but I know Cary used to use a company that was in Marshville. They almost used them exclusively for testing.
But I appreciate the detailed response, sir, and looking forward, as I said, to move as fast as possible. Hopefully get some more funding from the state of North Carolina to alleviate some of the stresses and pocketbooks of us ratepayers.
Agreed. Thank you.
Okay. Anything further, Commissioner Wade?
No, sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Russ May.
No, thank you at this time.
Okay. Commissioner Kenneth McLean.
No comments.
Okay. Commissioner Kaczynski, our Vice Chair.
I wanted to talk about the water testing that has been done in Creedmoor for the past 6 months. And the last round of testing, our board decided that instead of taking the water out of the fire hydrants, which people don't drink out of, we would volunteer our homes and have the water tested in our homes. And I am proud to say that the test result showed that we met all state and federal regulations. The results showed no inaccuracies. All state and federal regulations were met with that test. So we feel really sure that what SGWASA has told us for years and months is that you don't drink the water out of the fire hydrant. The water sits in the line of the fire hydrant for years until there's a fire. And it's not a reliable source for testing for drinking water. So I'm very satisfied with the results that we got. And we are going to hold off for 3 months before we do our next round of testing. But we are looking for Creedmoor residents, Creedmoor SGWASA customers who would like to volunteer to have their water tested at their home at no cost to them. And if you are, we've had some people volunteer already, and in 3 months we'll run that test. But we're looking for 5 volunteers for each round. And if you want to volunteer, reach out to City Hall or directly to the city manager and volunteer. We will have a waiver for you to sign, just like we signed. But we're looking for people to volunteer to let our PACE water testing people come into your house, or they can do it from the outside faucet if you don't want them in your house. But I would suggest that you do it in your house and see how those results come in. We are trying to help SGWASA find any problems if there are any. And I'm so glad that this last round did exactly what I thought it would do. And it showed that the drinking water in our homes meets all state and federal regulations. I'm disappointed on the filter media for the water plant that it's delayed again. We've waited a long time for this, and we're trying to tell everybody that SGWASA is working as fast as they can to get the water quality up, and we are. And it's not our fault that there's a delay. And I thank Scott and Chris for trying to get that pushed up a little faster if it can be done. And I hope you'll keep the pressure on, because this is something that is very important. And I think it's going to improve the water quality for everybody. That's all I got.
Okay. As for me, once again, I'd like to thank Tim Karen for his service to the SGWASA board over the years. I understand that he's moving on to other things, and this takes up a considerable amount of his time, and his time is his schedule is pretty stressed. I'd like to welcome Russ May to the board. Looking forward to serving with you, Russ. I want everybody to get to know Russ and work with him, and bring him up to speed. And getting back to the Invicta thing, I usually try to do a little research on companies with emerging technologies to see what the company looks like, what the financials look like, how long they've been in business, who's there, if there's any recognizable names. This company may have invented the magic bullet that destroys PFAS, as they claim. But, I've talked to a lot of people about the use of UV to destroy PFAS. UV is used in water treatment and wastewater treatment to treat pathogens. Mm-hmm. And the way they destroy pathogens is they don't zap them. They disrupt the DNA where they can't reproduce, and the pathogens die off. And they, because pathogens have a very short lifespan and they depend on reproduction to live, for the species to survive. PFAS is a chemical formula. It's a chain of
components.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. But anyway, I'm not sure how UV destroys that, and you don't have any byproduct to take away. I hope it works. And I think Kerry is going to be very careful and deliberate in their testing, and it'll be interesting to see the results. I understand they're working in South Carolina and a couple of places, so it'll be interesting to see the test results from there. And I've got a couple of continuing ed classes coming up, and hopefully some of the people in those classes will be from Cary, and I can speak to them directly.
That would be good.
Yeah.
So I did just look up, Invicta did enter into a contract with the town of Cary for a 6-month-long pilot program, and that happened this week.
Okay, so that's happened since I
this week.
did stay.
Just a comment, if I may.
Yes.
You made a very important statement that says you hope it works. Our responsibility is to ensure that it works.
Yes.
And that's what's driving us right now. Of course, our eyes are open to emerging technologies, but we have to have a proven technology, and we've shown that on our pilot project and our report how this is proven out. So I just wanted to underscore, there's no hope here. We have to prove that it works, and that's the pathway we're on presently.
So, Mr. Executive Director, we had charts from the PFAS study a couple months back showing that how the PFAS levels are fluctuating and that we weren't that far off the mark. Is that chart posted on our website?
That presentation was part of, was it the August board meeting? So that information.
No, it had to be sooner. I wasn't here in August.
We were here in August.
I'm sure it's posted.
It was part of the record as part of the meeting. I'm just not sure.
Well, I'll look it up, and when I find it, I'll let you know, and then we can bring it to light again.
Okay.
Crystal's got something on the screen right now. Crystal, what agenda is that?
That's August.
Is it the August board meeting?
I think it was July.
July. So, Crystal, just take a moment and show us what you're doing here on our website. So you're on our website.
Yes, you can go to the footer and click archive.
Archives, and you're going down to the year 2025. You're going to go to July, correct?
Yes.
And then view, and then what are your options here?
So you can select either the agenda, minutes, video, the audio, which is available at the same time, and any additional files.
Okay. So let's see in our agenda. Okay. That was a long agenda. No? Okay. Well, we'll make sure that it's the board's aware of where that information is posted.
I mean, I think that chart that was presented to us was full of information, and it kind of allayed some of my fears. And I would think that it was a very good presentation. I think CDM Smith did the presentation.
I did the presentation, but it was based on a document that they presented to me for the summer PFAS pilot testing update. And I believe that's what the title is. So we'll make sure that we reference that again following this meeting. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
And getting back, CDM Smith is a large engineering firm. We're one of many customers. We're probably one of the smaller customers they have, I would think. So they're not just us. CDM Smith is everywhere. It is all over the area and probably the Southeast United States.
They're worldwide, actually, and we selected them for their experience with PFAS.
So, we're not dealing with a company that's exclusively our company. We're just one of many customers they have, and they share information. So it should help you to know that when they speak, they're speaking from a wide experience. Not just I'm not pointing you out.
I was getting ready to say I'm aware.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everyone's aware that they're a very large engineering firm, and we're in many ways we're lucky to be able to use them and Hazen and Sawyer because they're. I know Hazen is an international firm and one of the larger ones. So, I think CDM. I stand corrected. I didn't know CDM Smith was international now, but they've both been around a long time and they serve a lot of customers. And I think Commissioner May has one remark you'd like to make.
I did. And again, I apologize for not mentioning it during my opportunity to speak. So I spent 40 years in public service doing a variety of things. And often this board, I'm just now coming on this board, but this board is often the target of a lot of criticism. And so it takes, I'm thankful for the opportunity to serve on this board. But the length and service of time that Commissioner Karen gave this board is something to be commended. That despite what his thoughts were, what he may have wanted to drive or not drive, he served consistently, and he served from. I know because I interact with him often, with someone who truly cared about this community, truly wants what's best for this community. And that's not always the case with every public servant. Sometimes they may not be as aligned with wanting to do for the community, but rather what they gain for themselves. I found Commissioner Karen, my experiences with him is that he truly is a servant leader and someone who truly sought on this board to serve his community. And I'm appreciative that the fact that he appointed me to this board. I'll attempt to do the very best job I can, but I did not want anyone to. I am appreciative that he sought me out. It does represent a good part of my district, and I'll do my very best, but I just don't want it to go by without. And I know the Chair Gooch has talked about it, but good man, and I'm appreciative of Commissioner Karen.
Okay. Is there any more business to come before us tonight?
Move to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do you hear a second?
Second.
I don't think we need any discussion on this motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. I didn't think I'd hear any. We stand adjourned. Thank you all.